Poilievre UNMASKS liberal plot reveals Carney's role in a shocking political scam. Pierre Poilievre's campaign has taken on the tone of a national reckoning. As the conservative leader tours the country, his message is no longer just a political pitch. It's a stark warning about what he describes as a creeping and calculated effort by the liberal establishment to entrench itself in every corner of Canadian life. And at the center of this alleged plot, he says, is none other than Mark Carney, the former Bank of Canada governor-turned-Liberal leader, who Poilievre accuses of fronting a political scam masked as economic expertise. Poilievre is sounding alarm, claiming that Carney and the Liberals are not just misguided technocrats, but architects of a system that robs Canadians of both their money and their autonomy. According to him, the Liberal government has gradually morphed from a political party into a machine of control, flooding the economy with debt, inflating prices, stifling dissent, and now, attempting to dictate how Canadians live, work, and even think. For Poilievre, the stakes are as high as they come. This isn't just about winning votes. It's about reclaiming the country from what he describes as elitist overlords who see Canadians as subjects to be managed rather than citizens to be trusted. His message is electrifying many, especially those who feel ignored or alienated by the political class. From small business owners drowning in red tape to young families priced out of the housing market, Poilievre is tapping into a deep vein of frustration. At the heart of his campaign is a passionate defense of freedom, not as an abstract ideal, but as something tangible. The right to make your own decisions, to keep more of what you earn, and to speak freely without fear of government censorship or media manipulation. This idea of freedom, he insists, is under siege by the very people who claim to be protecting it. Mark Carney, in Poilievre's telling, is not merely a political rival. He's a symbol of the liberal elite, wealthy, well-connected, and dangerously out of touch. Poilievre portrays him as someone who lectures Canadians about inflation from behind a podium of privilege, all while promoting another $130 billion in spending that, according to Poilievre, would worsen the very crisis Carney claims to solve. To the conservative leader, this isn't leadership, it's a scam, rebranding the same reckless policies that got Canada into this mess in the first place. Poilievre hammers this point home with relentless energy. Under the Liberals, Canada's national debt has exploded by over $500 billion, and yet the average Canadian is worse off. Home prices are out of reach. Food bank usage is at record highs. Crime is up. Social trust is down. And young people, once hopeful about the future, are now struggling to find their footing in an economy that seems rigged against them. For Poilievre, these are not abstract policy failures, they are moral failures, born of arrogance and ideological blindness. He says the Liberals are not only spending irresponsibly, but doing so in ways that benefit insiders and multinational firms rather than ordinary citizens. Whether it's sweetheart contracts for consultants, handouts to well-connected corporations, or billions in foreign aid while Canadians go hungry at home, Poilievre insists the pattern is unmistakable. The government is looking after itself, not its people. His alternative? A government that lives within its means. He pledges to eliminate at least $10 billion in wasteful spending, starting with bloated consultant fees, overseas giveaways, and corporate subsidies. This, he argues, would allow Canada to reduce inflationary pressures, lower the national debt, and bring some stability back to the economy, all while maintaining support for critical social programs. And contrary to the caricature painted by his opponents, Poilievre is making it clear that the Conservatives are not the party of austerity, they are the party of priorities. He emphasizes that his government would still support childcare, mental health services, and help for the vulnerable, but insists these supports must be delivered efficiently and sustainably. Anna Poilievre, his wife, has become a powerful voice in this effort, speaking candidly about the toll that government overreach can take on mental health and personal well-being. Her story helps humanize the campaign and broaden its appeal, particularly among women and young families. She has also taken on the task of busting myths about the Conservative Party's stance on diversity and inclusion. In speeches and interviews, Anna points out that the Conservative team is filled with women, minorities, and LGBTQ+ leaders who have earned their positions on merit. It's a direct challenge to the liberal narrative that paints the conservatives as backwards or intolerant. For the Poilievres, this is about restoring equality of opportunity, not perpetuating a system of division and dependency based on identity. Crime, too, has become a central focus of Poilievre's campaign. As he travels through communities struggling with addiction, violence, and repeat offenders, he delivers a tough-on-crime message grounded in compassion and clarity. He promises to end what he sees as a failed experiment in so-called harm reduction and replace it with a strategy centered on mandatory treatment, long-term recovery, and meaningful consequences for those who traffic in destruction. He calls for the arrest and incarceration of violent repeat offenders, arguing that a civilized society must first and foremost protect its innocent. This crackdown, Poilievre says, will be the most aggressive in Canadian history, but it will also be rooted in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Unlike the Liberals, whom he accuses of being soft on criminals and harsh on law-abiding citizens, Poilievre claims he will restore the balance between compassion and justice, giving victims, not perpetrators, the benefit of the doubt. In tandem with this law and order agenda is his crusade for free speech. Poilievre has taken a bold stance against Bills C-11 and C-18, which he claims are dangerous attempts to censor independent voices online. He says these laws were designed not to protect Canadians, but to protect the government from scrutiny by controlling what people can see, say, and share. In his vision, a Poilievre government would scrap these laws, defund the CBC, and ensure that no politician or bureaucrat can dictate the terms of public discourse again. This promise of unfiltered freedom has become a rallying cry. At events across the country, Poilievre tells supporters that the real power in this election lies with them. The people, he insists, are not the problem, they are the solution. And the only way to take back control from Carney's insiders and Ottawa's elites is to vote, organize, and reject the cynical politics of division and dependency. The message is striking a chord. Poll after poll shows growing dissatisfaction with a Liberal government and increasing interest in a conservative alternative. For many, Poilievre represents something rare in modern politics: clarity. Whether you agree or disagree with him, there is no mistaking where he stands. He doesn't hedge. He doesn't speak in platitudes. He says what he believes, and he says it like he means it. In an era of political doublespeak, that alone is refreshing. But Poilievre is banking on more than rhetoric. He's promising results, a Canada where freedom is not just a slogan, but a lived reality. A Canada where families can afford homes, children grow up safe, and the government answers to the people, not the other way around. The choice ahead, he says, is stark. On one side, a continuation of the Carney-Trudeau legacy, ballooning debt, growing control, shrinking opportunities. On the other, a conservative renewal, leaner government, freer people, and a country restored to its founding principles. The election is shaping up to be more than a contest of parties. It's a referendum on the future. And Poilievre is making sure Canadians know exactly what's at stake.